Yeah, what's up, everybody? 1212 and a place to be. I am Frank Red. This is another edition of the In the Dungeon program coming to you live following what was pretty exciting Golden State Warrior game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Unfortunately, the Warriors lost 104 to 101. Their fourth straight loss, third straight loss of what at the start I think most Warrior fans thought would be a opportunity to get right in a homestand. They played the next 6 games at home. They've lost 3 at home, 4 in a row. But they had a reason to potentially lose this game tonight because they were playing without their best player, and Stephen Curry had some right knee soreness. And even beyond that, I think it was just time for maybe Steph to take a game off. He's been playing heavy minutes. And let's hope that it's not a prolonged absence. I heard something to the effect that said that he might even miss Thursday's game against OKC. If that's the case, then they got to strap it up and they got to go out and put forth another solid effort like they did tonight. Now, you go into the game with a lot of confidence, even if Stephen is not playing, because you got 2 other Hall of Famers in your lineup, Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. So you feel pretty good about that. But literally 30 seconds into the game, Draymond and Klay and Jaden Daniels of the Timberwolves were all ejected. And it's unfortunate. I don't necessarily blame the referees. I don't think that they have to legislate how bad a particular play is. That's for the players, that's for the coaches to decide. And to be quite honest with you, I actually didn't even see the play until at halftime. The first 5 minutes or so of the game, I was listening to it on the radio. So I didn't see it in real time. With that said, I think you have to be careful if you are Draymond Green. I love his enthusiasm. I love the fact that he is always going to protect his teammates. But coming off being ejected in the last game, having a reputation that he has, I don't think he needs to change who he is. But I think that, he needs to be careful, particularly now because the NBA is moving in a different direction where there is a new crop of stars that are about to start to be protected the way the old guard did. And, it's shocking to veteran players when referees don't always give them the benefit of the doubt. But that's how the league works. And agents are involved, marketers are involved. The younger stars are going to get the benefit of the doubt. Now, this didn't involve Anthony Edwards. But I'm just saying, from a veteran perspective, I'm not surprised that Draymond didn't get the benefit of the doubt. I think he's going to have to modify how he plays a little bit. All right. I watched the game. I was thoroughly enthralled, like I'm sure many of you were. But I probably got a different take on some of the things that transpired. What I don't want to do, because I don't get paid from the Golden State Warriors, I don't get paid by anybody. I don't want to turn this into the Brandon Podzinski, this is your life moment. I don't want to do that. All right. Did he play well? Hell yeah, he played well. They're not in the game without him. 23 points. I wish I had his confidence. That dude has a lot of confidence. There's no doubt about that. But I got some comments I'm going to make to take a look at the game in a lot of ways that maybe some other folks don't. And straight off the top, I just hope that Moses Moody doesn't get screwed, all right? Because regardless of how many points somebody scored, I thought Moses Moody should have been in the game more because of his balance. He's not the most aggressive offensive player, but that's not what they needed to me in particular clutch moments. I think that he needed to be in the game and he wasn't in there. And, Steve Kerr's a great coach. Kuminga could have been in the game a little bit more tonight because this was a defensive effort. It was a defensive game. It was an offensive rebounding game. The Warriors were not going to win this game outscoring the Timberwolves. It wasn't going to happen. The Warriors were going to win this game by shutting Minnesota down. And at the end of the game, when they needed to get stops, they couldn't get any stops. That's why they lost. They didn't lose because they didn't make a shot. They lost because they didn't get enough defensive stops. And that's a shame because they played their asses off. But I think when you look at the tape, you're going to look at personnel. You're going to say, well, maybe we could have done things a little differently from a defensive perspective. And people are going to look at Chris Paul on that last, possession, one of the last ones, when he drove baseline and he ultimately threw the ball away back to the free throw line area and Minnesota went down and scored. That was on Andrew Wiggins. That play is called baseline drift. Every NBA team runs that play. When you run to the baseline like Chris Paul did, you go under the basket. The natural progression is for players to move to the baseline at the three-point line. Andrew Wiggins moved to the free throw line. So Chris Paul didn't have anybody to throw the ball to. And we're not blaming Andrew Wiggins. I thought Wiggins played his ass off. I really did. And I'm not an offensive guy. I'm a winning guy. Andrew Wiggins shot probably 4 for 15. It doesn't even matter. He's not playing great offensive basketball, but he was aggressive throughout the game. I thought his defense was way above average, and he competed. And that's all we want to see from Andrew Wiggins. Just go out and compete. The offense will do what it does. Presumably, it will come around. But I got to tip my hat to Andrew Wiggins tonight. I thought he played with a lot of energy, and that's your starting point. Let's get some of the comments in here, some of the folks out here that support the program. Start off with Vicky. Vicky says, let me put my glasses on so I can see, Vicky. Vicky says, hi, Frank, hell of a game. I'm not disappointed in the Warriors at all tonight. The players that played left it all on the floor. The kids played great. Hope you're having a great week. I am having a great week, and I thank you for your spot-on comments because I would agree with you. They did their jobs. Let's go out and talk to my man, Spencer. Spencer Olsey. Kerr didn't take any accountability for the fact that Clay started the nonsense. Yeah, I saw that as well. Jimmy, Draymond getting suspended for sure. Probably right. Grab him by the neck. Brian says, Frank, what's up? I'm chilling, my man. I'm looking forward to your insights because that's what you generally bring to the table. Man, SG. Golden State Warriors guard Klay Thompson for Draymond Green. Jaden Wall ejected. Yeah, I mean, we know they were ejected. We watched the game. Yeah, you know what? With regards to Kerr, I don't particularly have a problem with that because he's supposed to protect his guys. I mean, you know how much money that Klay, Draymond, and Stephen have made for Steve Kerr? He's going to protect his guys. And I would have to watch the highlights, the clip, a couple of more times, but it did look like Klay was trying to sun Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels like, yo, dude, I just signed a $135 million contract. I got money too. You're not going to punk me. It looked like Klay grabbed his shirt. And maybe I'm wrong. That's what it looked like. I mean, if anybody grabbed your shirt on the court, I don't care who they are. You're not going to let somebody punk you. That's not going to happen. So Jaden Daniels probably did what he was supposed to do. And again, I mean, you love the fact that Draymond has his teammates back, but he's going to have to be a little careful. Now, educate me. In that first interaction between Klay and Jaden Daniels, what happened? Did Klay grab his jersey first or did Jaden grab his jersey? I don't know. I only saw it once. Yeah, this is what I want to get to, Brian. Moody only played 14 minutes tonight. Corey Joseph played 13. Moody's in Kerr's doghouse. Feels like it. But tell me why. What did he do? What did he do? He didn't do anything. I'm just, hey, man, listen. I'm disappointed that Moses Moody didn't play more tonight. I am very disappointed by that. And again, it takes nothing away from Brandon, but I hear this narrative happening, man. I don't like it. I really don't. I mean, all of the rookies that Steve Kerr has coached over the past couple of years, Steve Kerr is tough as hell on rookies. He put these guys through hell. And it doesn't seem like Brandon Podzinski is receiving the same tough love that some of the other rookies have. And you might say, well, Red, because he's producing. And I go, he's playing well. He's playing well. But when I look at the game, specifically in those moments where the game was in the balance, it's not that he wasn't trying. It wasn't that he wasn't making plays. He was. But I thought Moody was better in that situation because of offensive and defensive balance. Some of those shots that Brandon hit tonight were miraculous and flat out lucky. I mean, come on, y'all. Come on. Don't buy into that. None of us are getting paid. None of us. None of us are getting paid. We don't have to do that. Spencer said Clay grabbed first when he tried to sun him. Right, exactly. And Jaden initially tried to pull him off. Yeah, man. I'm like, yo, man, what's going on? What we doing here? You're not going to disrespect me on the court. I don't care who you are. So, I would have liked to see just kind of Clay and Jaden kind of deal with that. They were pulling their shirts back and forth. And then they both would have got technicals and Draymond would have still been in the game. It didn't have to escalate to that level. But maybe by Clay and Draymond getting ejected, it lifted the bench players. I thought they were going to come out and play hard as hell anyway because they're all winners. But they even went to another level. They were making shots. They were driving to the basket. They were trying to take charges. A lot was going on. And it was all good. What's going to disappoint me, the loss didn't disappoint me at all. Like Vicky said, this was a fantastic game. They left everything on the court collectively. Everybody who got on the court, I thought, played extremely hard. But if they can't match that defensive effort Thursday night, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. I really am. Okay, Brian says he had 11 points, 4 of 6 from the field, but was a team low, minus 12. Okay, you're talking about Moody. Right, yeah, And Brian, I love to go back and forth with you on Twitter because you always make logical points that I either agree with or I have to counter. Now, I'm going to educate you by this point. Plus minus is a collective of the entire game. It does not do a good job measuring moments. I want to see plus minus in quarter. You know what I'm saying? I can't be married to plus minus. I can't. I have to coach. I have to look at the game and evaluate it accordingly. I don't care what Moses Moody's plus minus was. He wasn't like throwing the ball away. He wasn't doing anything that I thought was so flagrant that he should not be on the court. I thought he should have been on the court. First of all, offensively, even if he doesn't make the shots, he has great balance. And he's bigger. And he's a good rebounder. Here's another thing about NBA basketball. Why do you think that the ball consistently was in Brandon's hands? Because Minnesota wanted the ball in his hands. They said to themselves from the inception, this dude cannot beat us. And what he did was he went out there and said, you know what? I'm better than you think I am. I can play this game. And he went out and he made some plays. But they were actually executing their game plan. A lot of people probably don't even understand that. That's higher level thinking, higher level coaching. But that is the reality, man. He had an opportunity. Like, I'm waiting. Chris Paul comes down in the quintessential play. Brandon Podzinski is on the left side, 3-point line extended. He threw him the ball. He's wide open. He missed the shot. Am I going to get on him because he missed a shot? No, I'm not. I'm not. Everybody misses shots. But I would have liked to see somebody else get that shot. I don't think he's proven himself yet. I don't think scoring 11, 12 points in the first half. See, I don't believe that. And I'm going on the history of this team. You know, that's why Jordan Poole's not here. That's why Jordan Poole's in Washington now. Because he kind of broke the hierarchy. And I kind of see this narrative happening. No one's going to talk about it because, whoa, you know, it's kind of that third rail. No, what do you mean, Red? He had 23 points. Brandon's playing well. Listen. Brandon is playing inspired basketball. He's playing confident basketball. I love to see that. But I think that, but I see too many situations where the ball's in his hands. And you might say, well, what are you talking about, Red? Clay's not on the court. Steph is not on the court. I want to see the ball in Chris Paul's hand, probing Saric. He was their primary scorer tonight. I don't think that's a good look, man. I don't. My man Spencer says, in the streets, we are fighting right there. Gator doesn't play no shit. The other guy's reference. Well, yo, Spencer, there's levels to this. If you're making 30 racks a game, I think I'm gonna find another way to solve the problem. I'm gonna let somebody else get kicked out. I'm not getting kicked out unless it's real bad, but I'm gonna get him off of me. But throwing down, no. Too much money involved, man. It's not worth it. My man Brian says, you can't be married to plus minus. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, you can't be married to plus minus, but maybe Curry takes it into account more than us. I don't know his stance on analytics. You don't? Come on, man. Kerr is a, I mean, I'm sure that there are other people who are more aligned to analytics than Steve Kerr. But he definitely takes into consideration. So does his staff. They built their success on that. And I'm just saying, I don't like it. I don't like it. I think that you need to consider it. But if I'm Moses Moody, this is a guy who this is third year. He's done everything right. 13 minutes? I don't think so. I don't think so. And I don't care what the plus minus says. At that moment in the fourth quarter, I thought he should have been in the game. And he wasn't. And I thought the shot distribution should have been different. The one move that Brandon made to the basket, when he drove with his right hand, he had his head up, he drew the contact, and Cat Towns fouled him. I thought that was awesome. But the three that he made to end the third quarter, come on, y'all. Come on now. This is the truth show. We tell the truth on this show. You know, we don't walk out with pom-poms and cheerlead. Oh, no. Listen, that was luck, right? Can anybody comment and say, no, Red, you are full of you know what? That was not. It was off the backboard from three-point range. Come on, man. What about the shot? He did a pirouette in the lane, and then he turned to his left again and kind of threw up like a one-handed hook shot. Come on, y'all. We're going to tell the truth here. We are. Vicky says, I hate analytics. Yeah, I feel you, Vicky. I don't hate it, but I'm not married to it. As she says, Klay Thompson's jersey got ripped when he was involved. I mean, yeah, we know that. Andrew the GOAT says the Timberwolves got lucky because they took out Klay and he got ejected, and Green. What a lucky win for the Timberwolves. Yeah, you know what, man? When I look at the game, I'm disappointed because everything that we all believe about the Warriors tonight, about playing hard, doing everything they're supposed to be doing, they let this one get away. This was their game. And the game was in the balance again when the Warriors had a great defensive stand. Chris Paul is driving down the middle of the court. I believe they were up one at that point. And Podziemski's on foul line extended. He just happened to miss the shot. It was a quick three, too. I wanted them to really milk the clock. The game was that was the game. The game was in the balance right there. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I think they were up one at that particular point. Minnesota was on their heels. The Warriors might have been close to the bonus. I just wanted to see them milk the clock with the ball in Chris Paul's hands to see what we could get. If Stephen Curry is there shooting that three, hey, man, no problem. But he's the only person who I want to see lining up foul line extended in that situation, taking that shot. Timberwolves got a very lucky win tonight. Andrew the GOAT, I disagree with that, man. How many threes did Cat Towns hit? You think Mike Conley Jr. standing in the corner, knocking down the quintessential three to win that game, you think that was luck? I don't think it was luck at all. I think it was a veteran team, one of the best teams in the Western Conference and maybe in the NBA, playing their tails off. And understanding that this season means something. I actually sent out a text earlier today, and I was like, I thought the Warriors would win. I was texting back and forth with Brian Iglesias, and I said, yo, and pretty much what I stated almost happened. I thought the Warriors would come out with a lot of heart, play their asses off defensively, and because Minnesota was not mentally tough, I didn't think that they would win. But they showed me, and I think they showed a lot of people around the league, this team is for real. Are they good enough to win a championship or be one of the top teams in the Western Conference in the playoffs? I don't think so with one point guard. I think they need to make a move. But you got to respect it. Andrew says the Suns are probably going to end the Timberwolves winning streak. Maybe, but the Suns got problems. They got real issues. My man Brian says Paul 36 minutes, Sarge and Loon 32, Paz 39, and Wiggins only 23, and Moody only 14, and JK 16. Kurt needs to stop running his older guys into the ground early this season. I mean, yo, man. Moses Moody playing 14 minutes is inexcusable. I don't want to hear Jonathan Kuminga playing 16 minutes. It's inexcusable. And Bob Fitzgerald kept saying, well, the Warriors out-rebounded Minnesota. The Warriors out-rebounded Minnesota. Offensive rebounds? I don't think so. I don't think so. When the Warriors needed to get a rebound in the fourth quarter, they were hard to get it. And I don't think that we're even close to being there yet. We're 12 games in. But as a young player who, I mean, Moody played for Eric Musselman. You know he's heard F words and dealt with head games and a whole lot of stuff. This dude, again, as a 21-year-old, I don't know if I've ever seen a more mature young man than him in the NBA. Tonight was a disappointment. I thought he could have really helped the Warriors more than he did had he been on the floor. And Cyrus Saxes, he's going crazy right now. Jonathan Kuminga, 16 minutes. can't, explain that. Even if I tell you that Andrew Wiggins played a pretty good game, all things considered, mostly on the defensive end, you could have easily put Kuminga in for him and rationalized that. 16 minutes, and no one's going to question Kerr about that. But I thought that was wrong. I still think the Warriors will finish with a better record than the Timberwolves. It's going to be close. I had the Warriors, and I have the Warriors winning 50 games. They got to play a hell of a lot better than they're playing right now to win 50 games. And I think they will. Shooting is something that I think it comes and it goes. What impressed me about the Warriors tonight was their defensive effort. I thought their defensive effort was high level. And can they sustain that every game? No, they can't. Should they be able to play close to that at home? Absolutely. Absolutely. If they're not as physical with OKC on Thursday night, they get blown out. Even if Steph is back, even if Clay is back, and Draymond, none. OKC's good. You saw what they did to San Antonio tonight? They beat them by like 30 points. You got to play defense against them just to be in the game. And if they do, I think the Warriors will win. Andrew the GOAT says, the Timberwolves struggled against the Warriors bench. Doesn't seem to me like the Timberwolves are that good. They're 8-2. Andrew the GOAT, they're 8-2. They beat Denver. They beat Boston. They're good. Are they championship level? Not with one point guard. I don't think they are. But the interesting thing is Anthony Edwards is kind of playing a quasi Jordan role, Kobe role, where it gets late and then he just starts making dagger shots. And then he showed his all-star medal tonight when three guys converged on him, left Mike Conley Jr. went wide open, and he hit his teammate for a wide open shot. That was big time. So, this is a tough loss. Now, I want somebody to comment on what I've said about Brandon and tell me and make an argument that I'm full of, you know what? Tell me that I'm not looking at the game the right way. Because I got strong convictions about this. I really do. Maybe I'm wrong. The Warriors just need to make one big move and it's over for the rest of the NBA. Really? Who doesn't want to make one big move? I was proud of Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins locked up Anthony tonight and put him in. He did a great job, which is why this is such a gut-wrenching loss. Because the narrative should be about the Warriors' great defense. Not how they miraculously threw some shots in and stayed close. They played phenomenal defense for 44, 45 minutes. And then Cat Towns, to see Cat Towns knock those couple of threes down, those dagger threes, that bothered me because, I know Looney was tired. I know he played a lot of minutes, but his closeouts were not good at all. They were not good at all. He's 6'10". If Looney closes out on Cat Towns with a high hand late in the shot clock, I don't think he makes those shots. I don't. But for somebody like Cat Towns, those are driveway jumpers. This dude can shoot. And tough loss. I want to start a GoFundMe for Dario Saric. That dude, talk about the biggest surprise of the year. He's played his tail off. He really has. And he's on the veteran minimum contract because apparently no one else was signing him, or he bought into the fact that this was a great fit for him. And it is a great fit for him, particularly playing with Chris Paul, somebody who he's played with in the past. But yeah, I mean, I've never seen Dario Saric play as well as he's playing with the Warriors. He's been outstanding. A lot of fun to watch. He got a little boogie in his game that I don't think anybody saw. He can drive to the basket. Not a high flyer, but a pretty good rebounder. You know, 3-point shooter. Shoots a pretty good clip at the free throw line. I mean, where would they be without this guy? Andrew the GOAT says, I have a feeling that Thompson would have held the Warriors back tonight. But he didn't really play. I don't know if you can say that. You know, do you think if he had played, he would have held them back? Abdulio, what's up, brother? I'll take a shot. Watch prove he can play in the NBA. He defends hard. He crashes the glass like a maniac. He draws charges. As a rookie, he's good at all the things that don't involve scoring. Yeah, he is. And I don't have a problem with anything that you said. And as a matter of fact, the last thing that you said makes even more point. The irony is he scored 23 points, but scoring is not even close to the best part of his game. It's not. It's not at all. And I don't want people to get fooled. It's the other things that you're talking about. The instinctiveness on defense to take a charge, right? The natural rebounder that he is. He's a pretty instinctive passer. But I don't want to see the ball in his hands as much as it is with him shooting in clutch time. Because when I look at scorers, he's made a couple of threes when he's wide open, but his balance is not there yet. He needs to work on his balance. He needs to get his frame-up game together. And the more I watch him, the more I like him. Because, and let's keep it real. If you are a white player, particularly a guard, you're at a disadvantage in the NBA. People come after you. If you're a guard, a white guard in the NBA, they're coming after you. And you got to do what Brandon is doing. You got to say, you know what? Yo, I don't give a you know what. I have every right to play this game like anybody else. And I'm going to play. You got to be like a Watanabe, I don't want to butcher the kid's name. The guy from George Washington who's on Phoenix now, the first Japanese player. He don't care. And Brandon doesn't care. I love to see that. And it's funny because I was thinking about this today as I was reading a text, actually, not a text, reading a tweet from Vicky asking about whether or not I was going to have a show. I didn't know I was going to have a show tonight. But that got my juices flowing because I've coached at a lot of different high schools. I've coached at high schools that had predominantly black players, and I've coached at high schools that had predominantly white players. And guess what? There's no difference in how you coach and how you approach the game. The mentality is sometimes different. And my job, the narrative is sometimes different. You know, at some of the exclusive private schools that I coached at, when most of the players could buy and sell me 10 times, I had to sell, yo, dude, nobody owns this game. You own this game. When you're on the court, go play. Doesn't matter. I got you back. I got you. And they go out and they play their asses off. And I love that about Brandon. But fundamentally, right now, he has some work to do. And it takes a keen eye to be able to see that. But if you listen to the chorus, Listen to the commentators. It's all, oh, wow. I really like Brandon. I didn't hear that about Moses Moody. Some of the other rookies, I didn't hear that. And I was okay with that because Steve Kerr played for Phil Jack. He played for Luke Olson. He played for Popovich. He's an old school coach. But it seems like the gateway is pretty wide open for Brandon in ways that had not been open for other rookies. It wasn't open like that for Jordan Poole. Not saying that it should have been. I'm just saying. Abdulia, what's up, Frank? Sarich was good for Philly. He played ECF, Raptors. Okay. Only reason he didn't get a big contract was the ACL tear a couple of years ago. Yeah, and that might just be a function of me not, watching him play a whole lot. I know his game. I've seen him play, but I didn't see the ball handling skills that he has. I didn't see that. I saw the edge. I know he plays with toughness. I like that. But his game is bigger than what I thought it was. Andrew DeGo said the Lakers just beat the Memphis Grizzlies. That literally are without two of their best players. I don't think the Lakers are that good still. The Lakers are a flow team, man. I mean, when things are going real good, the Lakers look great. When things get tough, they don't always look good. Now, one of the things that they did the last couple of days, I think was smart, was they're bringing Austin Reeves off the bench. And we saw that during the World Games, I guess it was. He played really, really well, and then he got embarrassed in the championship game because he couldn't play any defense. Austin Reeves is not a good defender. And when you're going against the ones in the NBA, more times than not, the two-guard position is a scoring position against somebody who can really put it on you. And the Lakers have been getting down early on in games because of lack of perimeter defense. Because D'Angelo Russell is not a good defender. So I applaud the Lakers for Darvin Ham for making that move. But yeah, overall tonight, listen, man, I thought that Warriors' effort was outstanding. I'm just disappointed they didn't win. Because can they play better defense than that? Can they? They lost, think about this. They lost 116 to 110 on Sunday against the Timberwolves. They held the Timberwolves to 104 points tonight without Draymond Green, without Klay Thompson. I mean, that's almost like a perfect game for the Warriors. And yet they lost. They lost by 3. Really, they lost by like 5 or 6 because Moody threw that one in late. But it bothers me that they wasted such a good defensive effort because they got to duplicate that thing on Thursday. That's going to be real hard. You guys saw Sacramento play last night? That's the best I've seen Sacramento play. They look real good. Normally, when Keegan Murray locks up against the Warriors, they somehow get into his head, or he can't sustain his stellar play. He had a couple of good games early on in the playoffs against the Warriors last year. This dude should be knocking on the All-Star door. That's how good he is. If he becomes consistent, so De'Aaron Fox is a flat-out star. He's a top 5 guard. And Domantas Sabonis is a horse inside. They get that one extra guy, Keegan Murray, to play like an all-star. They're going to be tough. Think about how the Warriors beat them. The Warriors beat them literally with a thumbnail. It took 50 points from Stephen Curry to win in Game 7. Andrew DeGo says, I definitely believe the Warriors can play better defense in that they just have to clean up the little issues. You mean like closing out? Vicky says, I think Trayce Jackson-Davis is better than Brandon. I think ultimately he's going to have a really solid career. And I hope both of those young men do. I just don't like the narrative that I'm hearing. I mean, I get it from people who are paid by the Warriors. If you're on the Warrior flagship station, you're on TV, you're going to sing the Warriors' praises because they put money in your pocket. I get it. You know, we don't have to do that. We can have a conversation. You know, there's positives and there's challenges. It's okay to bring up things that are less fruitful, less flowery, less nice. Jimmy says, this is what he said. Rudy Gobert calls out Draymond Green. Every time Steph doesn't play, he doesn't want to play without his guy Steph. So he does anything to get ejected. Yeah. That's funny. I don't believe it. That's funny. So, well executed, Jimmy. That's the case. I mean, Brian says, for a team that takes a lot of threes, the Warriors are bad at shooting threes. Sarge, Wiggins, and Paz combined for 7 for 26 from distance. They just have to flat out shoot better, I'm assuming, right? You know, Brian, dude, listen, man. I love how you think about sports. I do. And a lot of times we're on the same plane, which is why, like, as a coach, right? As a coach, and just as a fan of basketball, as a supporter of the Warriors, a strong supporter, I repeat what I said again. The game was won and lost when the Warriors were up 1 point, when Chris Paul had the ball. I don't know how much time was left, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. And Brandon Podzinski jacked that three and he missed. Game over. Ball game. That was the game. 7 for 26. They need to get a better shot in that situation. But they keep running to the three-point line. Yeah, they had those opportunities to kind of get back into it. I think Gobert blocked somebody's shot on the wing. Was that Wiggins or GP2? I don't remember. But they had to make the best basketball play in that sequence, and it didn't happen. And that disappointed me because they're better than that. Last year's team won 30 home games, y'all. They were 30-11 last year. As bad as they were, as dysfunctional as they were, they won 30 home games last year. Warriors need to work on not playing so careless when they have a big lead, and the turnovers need to be cut down more, and the Warriors will be a lot better if they do that. Yeah, you know what? I mean, they've been pretty clean this year. They really have. And, I mean, Chris Paul might think that he's Superman, but he's not Superman. He's 38, almost 39 years old. He played, 39 minutes today? When you get tired, turnovers going to happen. It's just a function of fatigue. Joseph gave him a little bit. He made a couple of shots early on. But, Chris Paul was going to probably win or lose. Not lose the game, but if they won, he was going to be one of the reasons why they won the game. So. Yes, and one of the other issues the Warriors need to fix is to stop fouling so much. Not only that, you've got to realize the Warriors sometimes when they have a lead. Yeah, I mean the Warriors are not used to having the big lead, particularly when Stephen's not in the lineup. So they get antsy. They don't have a cohesive offensive team. They don't. I mean, when you start Looney and Draymond, and this year, Andrew Wiggins thus far, you basically have 1.5 offensive players out of 5. Draymond is a facilitator who's actually scored fairly well this year, but there have been opportunity buckets. But he's more of a facilitator. Looney's not a scorer, and I think everybody's pulling for Andrew Wiggins. Everybody. I mean, you would have to be a narcissist not to pull for Andrew Wiggins. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't bring harm to anybody. Only thing we know about him is just him as a basketball player. And it would be easy to jump on him if he wasn't playing hard on defense. But he is playing hard on defense. But going out shooting 4 for 16 every night. Even tonight, he didn't jack as many threes, but there were a couple of outside shots that I'm sure collectively we were all saying, why are you shooting that shot? Why don't you drive into the basket, get into the mid-range? Because it's there. I'm not saying go all the way to the basket and have Rudy Gobert block the shot, Cat Towns. But the mid-range was there. I saw a couple of threes that he shot. I'm like, he shot, I mean, it seems ludicrous to say it, but I don't think he should shoot more than 3 or 4 3-pointers a game until he starts making shots. A couple of big men that the Warriors could get in the trade that can help. Who are they? Who are they? Andrew, the GOAT? Who are they? And to be quite honest with you, the way that the Warriors play, I don't necessarily think they need a big man. I don't. I like their big man rotation of Looney, Saric, and Trayce Jackson-Davis. I like their big men. They got to shoot better. The Warriors, for a decade, was the best shooting team in the NBA. Now they're probably 20th. If that. They're probably the 20s. Do you think Wiggins is completely healthy? Watching him tonight, it seems like he might be working through some stuff. You might be right. I don't know. Didn't notice it. We were kind of walking down that road a little bit the last show, kind of speculating because he appeared to be a little aloof. But yet he still played, I thought, a pretty solid defensive game on Sunday night. Unless the Warriors come out and say that something is wrong physically, I'm not going to speculate on that. Because tonight, I thought he played outstanding defense. I thought he attacked, didn't have a whole lot of rebounds. Wiggins should be averaging like 8 or 9, at least 8 rebounds a game. This dude came out of high school with a 40-plus inch vertical. 6'8" with long arms. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I really don't. And from a coaching standpoint tonight, I mean, I thought Kerr had his team ready to play with a lot of energy, but the minutes distribution, I think, was a problem. And I don't know how you get around that because Kerr can be real stubborn. No one's going to tell Steve Kerr who to play and who not to play. He's going to play who he wants to play. And the Warriors pride themselves on sticking together and being a tight unit. I didn't think they were going to have any issues like this year. This is a major surprise to me. Major surprise. But I think we saw it coming with all of the positive comments. I mean, this is a complete 180 from what some of the other rookies have experienced from Kerr over the past couple of years. Think that doesn't bring a little resentment? No, I'm just like, I'm not at practice. I'm not coaching the team. I'm just like as an outsider watching this. I said, wait a minute. Moody's plus minus isn't great. He's not going to see the floor. And he got in a little bit in the fourth quarter, which made me think that maybe Kerr said, oh, maybe I should put Moody in. Should have played more. Kuminga should have played more. This is probably the first game, not the first, but this is one of the few games this year that he didn't play, Kuminga didn't play at least 20 minutes. There should not be a game this year, unless he is just god-awful, that he doesn't play at least 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes, 16 minutes. Year 3? When he's clearly one of the best rebounders on the team? I think the Warriors should trade for, is that Zubac on the Clippers? Why would they give him up? He's a good player. Nobody wants to give up good players. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win. I'm inspired by the defense. Offense is not something that you clap your hands and you fix. It doesn't work that way. It's psychological, it's practice. There's a lot of things involved in teams playing well offensively. And then you have to consider attrition, because attrition is real. I don't know how many times Brian has mentioned that Clay's had multiple serious leg injuries. How good can Clay actually be? The starter in the NBA, he's averaging 15, 16 points, shooting low 40s, probably low 30s in 3 or less than that. I mean, he's going to do better. But I think Klay Thompson's days of averaging 20 points a game are over. On a winning team, it's not going to happen. Can he pop off now and then? Of course. But Klay Thompson's days of averaging 20 points a game, I think are over. Maybe he can average 18. But I don't see 20 coming down the pipe. I am mildly inspired with what I saw tonight about Thursday's game. Because we don't know who's going to play for the Warriors on Thursday. But we know the lineup that OKC is going to put on the floor. It's going to be a good one. So this team has to come out and play their tails off, just to be close, like they were tonight. And then they got to play better. It looks like some of the defensive schemes that the Warriors are using now on their rotation resemble Tom Thibodeau when he was the assistant coach, defensive coordinator for the Boston Celtics when they won the championship. I forgot what year that was. But I just remember the rotations on that Celtics team being flat out flawless. And that's with Paul Pierce and Ray Allen on the team. Not great defenders, but they were part of an incredible defensive unit that year. And, I think there was another level that the Warriors could have gotten to defensively tonight, as well as they played. But they were late on some closeouts. And Vicky, offensively, I think you're making my point. Go for more twos. Hey, there was no reason to jack that 3 up. The Warriors were up 1 point. Minnesota was kind of on their heels. And again, if you make that shot, you're sitting at the podium at the end of the game and everybody's kissing your butt, telling you how great you are. But when you miss, you put your team in a tough situation. notwithstanding your desire to help your team win. But in that situation, you got to make winning plays. You have to do it. Great game, great effort, but still a loss. The Warriors are now 6-6 to take on the upstart OKC Thunder on Thursday. Should be an outstanding game. I wanted to slide in. There was a ruling today. I'm going to read it. All right, here we go. A state judge in Washington granted Oregon State and Washington State sole control of the Pac-12 Board of Directors on Tuesday, issuing the ruling at a preliminary injunction hearing in Whitman County Court. Judge Gary Libey granted a stay of the decision until Monday at no objection from OSU and Washington State University, as the 10 schools leaving the Pac-12 following this school year initiate the appeals process. The decision comes roughly 2 months after Libey granted a temporary restraining order at the request of Oregon State and Washington State that prevented Pac-12 Commissioner George Kliavkoff from calling any Pac-12 board meeting. I mention that because basically what that says is that in this flyaway year, Oregon State and Washington State potentially will get the opportunity to control the money that the Pac-12 has made. Talk about irony. In the best year that they've had in what? Since forever? I can't think of a more competitive Pac-12 season than this season. I can't. I mean, you could argue that they're better than the SEC, the Big Ten. They definitely rival those leagues this year. And I have contended from the start. If they had just let USC and UCLA go, they still would have had one of the best leagues in all of college football, best conferences. And they couldn't hold their water. Everybody was looking out for themselves, looking for a check, cutting the deal for themselves. And now the Pac-12 is no more. But it's going to be a big bag this year of all the revenue that they have accumulated this year. And that's a scary proposition to have literally two schools. There's two schools that are left controlling the purse strings. So we can imagine that there are going to be many appeals henceforth concerning how this whole money back scenario plays out. But right now, Oregon State and Washington State are up and out front. And I'm happy for them. So we'll see what happens. All right. Also, the young man, Jack Jones, who was cut by New England, was picked up by the Raiders. Apparently, Antonio Pierce coached this young man in high school and in college at Arizona State. So the Raiders, I think, scored in getting a talented DB who had run into some stuff in New England that can potentially help them. Let's get Vicky in here. Before you go, what do you think about the Bills game last night? Only 11 can be on the field. Yeah, you know what, Vicky, I actually wrote something down because I followed Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator who got fired from Buffalo. Marimoni's great. He went to Marimoni High School in the East Bay. Obviously had a stellar career at the University of Miami playing quarterback. But I think that it's surprising, but it's not shocking. And it shows this young person early on in his career that life ain't fair. You're going to have ups and downs. He is the scapegoat. It's not his fault that there wasn't that there were 12 people on the field and that gave Denver another kick after they initially had missed the kick. That's not Ken Dorsey's fault. When you look at the numbers in terms of scoring. The first 3 games, over 30 points a game. The last 5 or so down to like 20, 21. It is under his control. So it sucks that he lost his job. Is it fair? No, it's not fair. But I think that Ken Dorsey actually brought attention to himself going back to last year, I believe. Early this year, I guess it was. Or was it last year? I don't remember. When he's throwing his computer, banging it against the, the console in the coach's box. Remember he was doing that? He looked like a 2-year-old kid who didn't get enough candy. That's probably not who he is. But I think that kind of put a flashlight on him. And, I actually probably think that it made people feel a way about him. And that's unfortunate. I think he will land somewhere else. NFL, college, that's how this game kind of works. You experience the most sublime times and the most sad, the most heartbreaking moments also in this game, because it's not fair. It is a microcosm of life. Life is not fair. And Ken Dorsey is experiencing that now. I'm happy for Denver. And more importantly, I'm happy for Russell Wilson because, everybody came out and told us that Russell Wilson was done. He sucked. Ready to take away his Hall of Fame jacket. And right now, as we sit here, Russell Wilson has thrown 18 touchdowns and 4 picks. If you look at statistics and just analytics, this dude is having a phenomenal year. And he's rushing the football this year. He's running. He's back to elusive rush that we saw in Seattle his first 5 years or so. So I'm happy for this guy because people were piling on Russell Wilson so much that it was ridiculous as a football player. Now, if you want to talk about him as a person and you might know him, he's not a great teammate. We've heard all of that stuff. And none of us know unless we actually played with him. But don't dog his talent like that. All right? And I'm just happy to see him come back. And you got to give Sean Payton some credit. You have to. He's kind of a curmudgeon, but they're 4-5, man. Denver is 4-5 after giving up as much as 70 points at some point this year. So big them up. I don't think Buffalo's done. I don't. As dire as it might seem now, what are they, 5-5? I'm not giving up on Buffalo. I think Buffalo's going to rally. Vicky might disagree. The Bills are a mess. Yeah, you're right. But I'll say this, Vicky. 2-3 weeks ago, we thought the Raiders were a mess. And what did they do? They rallied. They won 2 games in a row. And they look like a real football team. So, ebbs and flows. Think about the 49ers. The 49ers lost 3 games in a row. And they came back this past week and smacked the Jaguars 34-3. So we don't know. No, we're going to find out. The Warriors take on OKC on Thursday night. We're going to see how that plays out. Maybe we'll do a show. Maybe we won't. We'll check the pulse to see how it goes. I want to thank everybody for checking in tonight and contributing to the show. Really appreciate it. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to get out of here. All right. Once again, the Golden State Warriors lose 104-100 to the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are now 8-2. The Golden State Warriors dropped to 6-6. They've lost 3 games in a row at home and 4 straight. And that's going to be it. I'm going to do my thing and get out of here. Success and getting paid is a manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. I am Frank Red. If you like the show, hit the like button. If you have not subscribed to the show and you like it, you want to do that, subscribe. If not, then give us another chance the next time, and we'll see how that all plays out. All right. Good night, everybody. Peace.